Okay, people, she did it again. I guess she's trying to be an internet sensation. An internet sensation while she's working in the back room as a prostitute, pretending to be Super Mom of the Year before she even popped out a baby yet. I'm just saying. It is now February 27th of 2026. Now, I am working on that comfrey, so maybe I'll put that little bit of the comfrey. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should keep the comfrey video because it's before this, right? And it's only just an introduction to whatever. I'm just, okay. Maybe I'll put it at the end of this. I don't know. That last video that I did going through this girl's video, it was like almost 2 hours long, which is ridiculous for what it's worth, really, honestly. But whatever. She likes to play. For whatever reason, you'd think she would just fade off into the distance and, you know, carry her cross, because everybody's got their own cross to carry. It doesn't say on the cross why you're carrying it. So it's not like she can walk in public with this big ass cross on her back with it written on why she has to carry it. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is she could walk among the people and 99.9% of the people wouldn't have a clue what she's done, in my opinion. Right? And she can hope that she can skirt justice, right? And get in through the pearly gates when her time comes with that heavy-ass cross, to which she has made no atonement to yet. Okay, I'm just saying. Otherwise, she keeps putting herself out there, clearly wanting attention from me. Now, she can say, I want attention from her. No, what I want is justice for my family as a whole for the murder of my daughter, to which really only that justice can come from one or two places. And the first place should have been from my government, especially when I took it to a court, instead of them just throwing it out through misleading the court, right? And with the court itself being corrupt, right? Again, there is no statute of limitation on murder, and whatever paperwork I filed was right on the line of that quote-unquote so-called statute of limitation. Right? Hold on a minute. Okay, so anyway, we'll get back to this here. I had to give him some juice. It's like almost 3 a.m. in the morning. I guess he was sleeping when I was sleeping. Andre said he woke up when I woke up. And he's got a poo. He's been pooing for the last 5 days. And his tummy is full because he likes to eat. So he's eating. And we've been giving Amari the laxative, which has been making his poo quite runny. It's a 50-50 in terms of, you know, chunks with a lot of runny poo, because that's what the laxative does. But his belly is full, right? So, you know, he gets fussy when he's trying to push it out, right? So, anyway, I gave him a bottle, so hopefully he'll stay quiet for a while. And it is what it is. I had to sleep. I've been putting in 15-hour days. Yada-da-ya-ya. Yesterday, basically all I did was laundry and poke around in the kitchen, do dishes and whatever. And yeah, so, okay. And then I did a little bit of video on the comfrey, but I'm not going to put that comfrey video on this video. We'll keep this separate, okay? Plus, I never got a chance to do it on Andre's collarbone either, right? So we'll pick up with that tomorrow. Well, today, really. So in the meantime, it looks like she took down that other video, I guess because it was too noisy. And now she's done at New Nations Unity, at Peeps Fashion, at Shmay Chorney, stop. Oh, what's the title? Let's go to turn it on and see what we got here.
Anyways.
What is it? Stop while you can. I'm sure your brain hurts. Stop while I can what? Insist that my daughter was murdered? Is that what you expect me to stop? Is that why you don't go away? Because I keep talking about it and you've never liked me talking about my daughter? Because again, you hope if I stop talking about it, people will stop sensing who and what you are when you're walking in public with that cross, with it written on the cross, why you're carrying that cross. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, nobody would know. Nobody would know what you're really like. Because that's the thing about you. You like to do things when you sneak around and, you know, putting dog ashes in cheeseburgers, little locket that you gave him, right, that you said was, where's my fingers? A little locket that you gave Cheeseburger with dog ashes, as you were telling him that they were Julian's ashes, when in fact that was a lie, and that man wore that locket around his neck for as long as you were dating him, what, 2 years or something like that, a year and a half, I don't know how long you were with Cheeseburger for, but the whole time that he was wearing that locket, he thought he had Julian's ashes in it, and then when you got mad, next thing you know, you're asking for the socks back that you bought him, you're asking for the undershorts that you bought him, you want the shoes back that you bought him, and you wanted that locket back that you gave to him, supposedly with Julian's ashes in it, but because you were the one that was butthurt for whatever reason you had with that man, you informed him that you and your girlfriend tricked him by putting actual dog ashes in it, and there was no Julian's ashes in that little locket, because that's what you're like. You like to sneak around and do stupid shit. So just like you snuck around when Shmay was at your mother's house and you laced Shmay's smokes, you went and you grabbed Shmay, asked Shmay if you could have a cigarette, picked up her freaking pack, ran off, went outside to act like you were going to go have a smoke. You did, or maybe she went to the bathroom and that's when you scooped up on her pack of smokes, and that's where you laced her smokes. And there was something else in there that you were sneaking around doing. Yeah, one of my videos mentioned it, but I don't want to think that far because I got more important things to be doing than thinking about you being a snake. Okay, so before we start, this last lawsuit that I filed with the Attorney General and the Public Safety Solicitor Attorney General, I did go as far as to put an appeal in, typed it out, Smash and Grab Rhea came by, went through what I wrote, started rewriting the whole damn thing, and it never went as far as to file it because, you know, I do that daily grind with Amari, yada-de-ya-ya. But that doesn't mean that that thing isn't still sitting there, right? And being that when I do go to court with these very, very important issues, and the government, as a government, continues to try and cover it up, I don't think it's because they're trying to cover it up, because they're trying to save themselves money in terms of, like, you know, if you file a lawsuit, usually there's money involved. And if the person that filed it wins, they get money for that because, you know, it's restitution or whatever it's called. I don't think that's why the government tries to cover it up, because they don't want to pay out money. Like for Amari, for example, if I can go as far as to file something for Amari, because, you know, I have the proof in a court of law that those facts, right, where he was injured at the time of his birth, or soon after, which would be to do with the C-section and the negligence of the healthcare staff turning her away for 5 days, blah, 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 blah. There would be money involved where the government would have to pay so that Amari could be looked after for the rest of his life, right? Without having to depend on social assistance or any of that crap, which would give the family more freedom to look after him under their terms versus what the government gives to them, which will not be enough, right? So that they can come back in and do what they do like they're doing with me, right? Because I'm on low income. Obviously, it makes me more vulnerable. Yada, yada, yada. All right, they expect me to be living in a monster house when they damn well know that I don't. And if they think this place is too small and yada, 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 what's going to happen when I downsize? If there's money there, I could upsize. And I could start fresh, or whoever who is looking after Amari by that time, right? And create the environment around his needs before they even move in. Okay, I'm just saying. So with that said, when it relates to Shimei and everybody else, including Uncle John, if I ever decide to refile a lawsuit regarding the, I don't know what the right word is, negligence of the Attorney General to ignore what was submitted in terms of evidence, right? So that it showed that I had a valid case versus just a 5-page civil lawsuit claim. Within 5 pages, I had something like 300 and some odd pages, which provided evidence, just like I did with Uncle John. Now, I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do it, because that comes under discovery. But my intention was to show the government that whatever I was doing was real, and I submitted it with integrity, hoping that my government would respond back with integrity and would want to root out corruption. So if we were to win with Amari, for example, okay, I'm talking about 2 different lawsuits here, okay? One for Amari, and then the one that I general for, Uncle John and Shimei and yada yada, right? How can I say this? They wouldn't want Amari to receive justice, right? And pay so that he could be looked after without being dependent on their at-home program or whatever, right? It would only be because they're protecting the corruption within the healthcare system, so that the next time a child gets injured through negligence, whether it's being done with malfeasance, like I do believe there was malfeasance involved with Amari being injured. I think those workers were purposely pushing the envelope. They were purposely trying to drag it out, right, with the intent to have him come out injured so that he would become that recipient to that program that was just implemented at the Children's Hospital within the last year and a bit, right, to prop up that research study that they were doing on a global level, okay, right, at taxpayers' expense. Plus, being that Amari is so compromised, if he should die, he becomes the perfect candidate for organ harvesting, to which the provincial government invested millions of dollars into the Children's Hospital, as well as they brought in their own operating team that specializes in harvesting children's organs. So it's a win-win for the government to have kids like Amari to prop up whatever it is that they're implementing within the children's hospital, whether it's a research global study or whether it's that supply where you need organs on demand, right? To, offset the wealthy and their demands for organs for their kids. Amari is the perfect organ donor. So why would the government care if he was injured at the time of his birth at a seedy hospital that not only illegally harvests organs and commits heinous crimes by embalming dead bodies on a bed for 9 days just so that they can cover up illegal organ harvesting any more than they would by injuring children at the time of their birth with the prospect of either having that child's organs become available for, organ transplant at the children's hospital, or to plug them into a global study. A global study. It's not just a local, it's a global study that they plugged them into with that hip surveillance program. Right? So why would they want to stop that system? Because it's a system, right? They don't. So yeah, they're going to fight tooth and nail to prevent Amari from getting any kind of justice where he can be separated from government quote-unquote programs, the at-home program, any kind of program that they offer for children born like Amari, so that the caregivers to Amari can look after him on their terms. No, they'll just throw it out of court like they do everything else that they do when it comes to corporate corruption, okay, and control, right? With the end goal of that supply and demand, wherever that supply or demand is needed, okay? So what I'm saying is, being that my court case with the last one that I filed is still sitting in the appeals office, okay? I can pick up on that at any time. Can I go in there and file under that appeal and get in front of those 3 judges? It's hard to say because a couple of years have passed. I don't know how many years have passed. So maybe there it's kind of fell off to the wayside, but it's not like I can't go back, rewrite, point out the discrepancies. How the government ignored right there with my lawsuit, with all those papers that I submitted, where it showed the filing date was interrupted through COVID and the lockdown of the courthouse, where I had to put everything into a drop box. So I couldn't put it into the drop box until I went and got a certified check, or certified money order. I had to go get a certified money order on the day before that statute of limitation and then show back up, I don't know, whenever, the next day, or it was the weekend or something, on the following Monday, and put that into the drop box. But the certified money order shows that I met that threshold of the statute of limitation. So right there, the government would have known that. So when they said, oh no, she didn't meet that threshold, throw it out of court, it was done with malfeasance from a judge that was bought off. So that's how I'd go back in and file another lawsuit and bring it back up to the surface, right? So that it starts the process all over again. You understand what I'm saying here? And yeah, I'm going to be coming into crooked judges. I'm going to be coming in with a crooked government that's going to do everything in its power to cover up the heinous crimes, the malfeasance, everything that goes on in this province to protect criminals versus protect the public, including small children. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you think you're doing in terms of trying to put me into check is minute compared to what I can do while I'm still alive. Whether I'm in Canada or whether I'm in the United States, based on what my corrupt government wants to do with me in terms of, push me over the edge. To what? Silence me? Yeah, okay. What? Keep the status quo? Business as usual? Okay. So, with that said, why you want to keep your face up in the crossfire of all that as you carry that cross that's written on the back, what you carry it for, right up in everybody's face? I don't know. Because as it is, you're just a little peon and nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares who you are, right? Except you. And being that you're going to be a quote-unquote mother soon, so you say, I don't know why you aren't putting all your priorities there, okay? Versus trying to put yourself out on the internet, acting like some, I don't know, hoodlum, making threats. Now, Andre listened to your video, and he just gave me a few drops on as to what you had to say. And apparently, you still think you can come to my door, use Amari as the excuse, because he's so-called your nephew, and what? You gonna push yourself in? I told Andre, make sure you have 911 on speed dial. If this girl, you, show up at my house, he's calling 911 on speed dial, and I will have you charged for trespassing because you are a hoodlum, you're a hood rat, you're a murderess, you're dangerous, you're unpredictable, and you're a freak. And nobody that is around me likes you. We didn't like you before Shmay was dead, and we do not like you with her being dead. You have absolutely no right to come anywhere near my house. I don't care. And if you want to take it there, we'll take it there. And then when that shit happens, I'll make sure I get a restraining order against you. Do you understand? But that doesn't stop me from talking about who murdered my daughter, why my daughter was murdered, and what my government did about that information in terms of covering it up so that they can perpetrate the ongoing activity of illegal organ harvesting at the expense of thousands of people, young people mostly, dying in this province as they try and cover up that fact with a bunch of immigrants to make it look like the economy is functioning, when in fact it's being held up by young people being murdered as the government protects the criminals. And being that you keep putting your face out there saying stupid stuff, I will fight back, talk about it, and keep it there in the forefront for justice. If I don't ever get justice, my family never gets justice, so be it, because justice comes in different ways. But if I can help save other people and their children and their loved ones, then you know what? I can go to my grave knowing that I stood for something versus running around acting like a freaking hoodlum. Okay? So that was with my introduction to your video, which honestly makes me want to file another freaking lawsuit to inform the government where there's a paper trail. They can bury that paper trail in their courthouse, but it will never go away. Okay, it's always going to be there. It's going to go into archives. And one day somebody's going to pull up those freaking archives and they're going to say, holy crumb, who the hell was managing this? Because clearly they were criminals themselves right there working at the courthouse by not doing their jobs. It takes nothing to file another lawsuit, all right? And being that the government threw it out of court based on falsehood, based on lies. Okay, they lied to the judge, and the judge lapped it up like a freaking dog. And, yeah, so nothing. Keep pushing my buttons. I'd file it just to put your ass in check. Put your name at the top of it. Yeah. You want attention? I'll give you attention. And don't think that shit won't follow you to Alberta, because it will. Hold on a minute. All right, well, Andre pointed this out to me. I didn't even see this. So we better read this before it disappears, because we know that you're not going to let this comment stay up. And whoever this person is, honest to God, God bless you. Yeah, let the good Lord bless you for standing for justice, because I ain't got time to be fooling around with bullcrap, right? Yeah, right. You know, you're bringing whoever this individual is bringing tears to my eyes. What? Because it just reinforces that little bit of teeny weeny satisfaction that no matter what trials and tribulations I have to go through this, I'm reaching some people. And I'm reaching them for the right reasons. If you hear Amari fussing, it's only because he's got a poo, right? Because his belly is full. All right. This is Jacob Maffels. All right. Oh my God. Shut up. Like, just imagine you having to harassing a family for views, and didn't your brother kill New Nations Unity daughter? Oh yeah, he did. And he got shot at a gas station. Like they say, karma is a bitch. Let me tell you something, that person, Sir Jacob, she will delete that comment as soon as she sees it. I doubt she'll let it stay there because it's too close to home. But me, and Andre, and anybody else, we appreciate your support, because it's not a joke where this girl seems to think it is. She's more concerned about her, I don't know, if she's walking down in Edmonton Mall, if you're walking in Edmonton Mall, being that you live in Edmonton, okay, talking to her, right? Whatever cross you're carrying, nobody can see it, but you can feel it. So who cares what I say on YouTube? You understand what I'm saying? You're not even in the province, right? Nobody knows who you are. And that's why you did what you did. Because you knew you'd get away with it. Like thousands of other people out here being the hoodlums and hot capping innocent lives. For whatever sick reason people hot cap other people for. For whatever sick reason people murder people for. The point is nobody knows. Only you. That's your cross. So it wouldn't matter what I said on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter, even in a court of law. Unless, of course, my government wanted to take it serious and start sweeping the streets and getting people like you off the streets. But they don't want to spend that kind of money because the big money is in the bodies, the dead bodies, and the injured little children that come out brain damaged with malfeasance from a hospital's perspective when they want to be plugged into, when they want to plug these kids into global studies and have them on a list for that supply when the demand is being called when it comes to organ harvesting children's body parts. Okay? And that's how I'd write the lawsuit. And it wouldn't be for Amari. It would just to bring up everything for my family. With Shemay at the top of the list. Yeah. Because that hasn't been dealt with. And they can call me frivolous. They can call me scandalous. A waste of the court's time. They can threaten me. They can do whatever the hell they want with me. But that paperwork's still going to be pushed through. Do you understand? It's still going to have to be filed. And from my understanding, that's half the battle. Right? But you see, they don't want you filing it. That's why you can't get a legal aid lawyer when you're a poor person, which makes you even more susceptible to criminals, because the criminals know that you can't get protection from your government because you can't even go get a legal aid lawyer to help you to submit it properly so that you can keep up with whatever it needs to be kept up with, as well as put freaking corrupt judges and corrupt lawyers into check, right? You know, there's certain maneuvers that lawyers do to put corrupt lawyers into check even a corrupt judge. And you have to know what kind of paperwork, what kind of motion. And if you're always doing that daily grind, I'm sorry, people, I don't mean to be making this video long, but this is serious shit, right? But if you're always doing the daily grind, okay, you know, whether it's dishes, laundry, whatever, yard work, whatever it is, okay, and especially with a disabled child, right? You know, it's hard to keep up with the paperwork. I've been putting in 15-hour days for the last 11 days. Today, I actually slept. The problem with sleeping and trying to play up on the catch-up sleep, it makes my eyes kind of a little worse, but my eyes been getting kind of worse anyway because I've been putting in 15, 16-hour days. Oh, what have you been doing? Your house is that cluttered. Well, no, it's not that it's cluttered. Like this morning, I spent time in the kitchen. I was doing laundry, and I was doing the dishes, and I was sorting out jars, and, you know, blah, 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 you know, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Washing the floor, you know, things take time. It took me 2 days just to go through the buckets and take things out of old plastic bags and put those little bits of this and bits of that into Mylar bags. Took the time to do the video to show people right from the get-go, if you got this pile, you know, this bag, just go get yourself a whole bunch of little Mylar bags and just do it at the time as you're emptying out your bags so that you don't have to backtrack like I did, right? You know what I mean? I'm helping people to learn how to, well, not helping them to learn. I'm just giving them ideas how to make their kitchens more functional if certain things that they do is not as conducive as to what I show them. Right? And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. I think I try that. And then they try it and it works out better for them versus having to learn the hard way like me. Why do you have to learn the hard way when somebody can come and give you some advice to make it easier on yourself and your kitchen more functioning? And if it cuts back on moths and, you know, blah, 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 right? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm not the only house that gets moths, right? So, you know, you want to find a way to make it, because moths will eat plastic. They can't eat Mylar bags, but they will eat plastic. Just keep that in mind. Hold on a minute. Okay, so we got Andre on comment patrol. He refreshing the page every now and then to see if a new comment comes in and to wait for this one to be deleted because she won't allow this one to stay up. And yeah, there's a reason why people just randomly, well, they're not randomly, you see, that's the thing, get shot at a freaking gas station right outside the window to the gas station. That just wasn't some random act. Why don't you talk about that? So yeah, you're just pushing me closer to filing another lawsuit so that the government steps up to the plate sooner than later to put people like you in check so they can't be running around in the mall, doesn't matter what mall it is, with a big-ass cross on their back, pretending that they're, what is that, Mother Teresa, right? The pretending that they're Mother Teresa when in fact they're probably plotting and scheming who they can either injure and hurt somebody next or maybe just simply take them out, being that they got away with it once or twice or 3 times before. Because people who do shit like that just don't start and stop with one. They go on to the next. Right, alright, so let's just carry on with that. I ain't got no time to be filing no lawsuits. But like I said, whatever lawsuit I filed wasn't for money. I never expected money. I expected justice. I expected investigations from the provincial government where they created a whole new freaking portfolio and put cash infusion in there and hired a whole bunch of new workers, government workers, to root out the criminals within our public union system, service workers within the union itself, within the public health care system, within our justice policing systems, within our social services systems, within our freaking court systems, pick and root out the criminals. That requires big bucks to hire those kind of workers on a provincial or federal level. Like the Wild Wild West when the territorial sheriffs and marshals were coming in and putting the local freaking sheriffs in check. That's what we need. That's what I fight for. There's the justice. Will it bring back Shimei? No, but it will save thousands of lives. Okay? Maybe those 17 kids that Tisha knew as she was growing up don't mean nothing to you. But they mean something to me, because some of those kids I knew, some of those kids were out at Gateway Place, playing on the drums that I brought out, eating the snacks that I brought out, running through the water sprinklers and playing in the swimming pools that I brought out, building the birdhouses that we built together as a team. We're there planting that little community garden as the natives were running in, grabbing my sign and running off to the freaking, what is that called, office, saying, oh, she can't use the word New Nations Unity, she's not native. Didn't matter. It didn't matter who was out there planting that community garden at Gateway Place. We were out there doing it together. But now a lot of those kids are dead. What does that tell you about the province of British Columbia, Canada, and its government, with people like you running around, still threatening people after all these years? All right, so let's get on with your little video. Boy, what a long introduction. But yeah, you're motivating me, bitch. You're definitely motivating me to bring up that lawsuit right to the surface. It would be nothing. 5 pages, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And then when they throw it out of court, next time I'll make sure I get in front of an appeal board with those 3 judges. I'll take it to that level. And if I go blind, doesn't matter. I'll get myself a freaking computer where I can talk into it and it'll print it out for me. And I'll find a way to get to the courthouse if I'm not at the U.S. consulate crossing over the border looking for something over there to pick up the good fight. And at least over there, you get the real justice warriors, the ones that aren't afraid to stand. And that's what's called the Underground Railroad. Not the Underground Train. It's called the Underground... I'm paving a new Underground Railroad. Instead of going north, we're going south. Get on the highway to go south. Because that's where you're going to find those justice lawyers. Those ones that stand up for humanity. Not the ones waiting for a fake freaking car accident out here in British Columbia, Canada, so they can launder money. Yeah, so they can launder money. As they're killing kids out here. And young people. 22 years old, 23 years old, 24 years old, 28-year-old young people. Because Tisha's 28 now. So all those kids that are dead, they either died when they were 14, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 24. They're all young and they're all dead. Why? Because our government is corrupt.
So, listen, girl. I'm going to just say this because you keep saying we left Amari on the floor. Okay.
Provoke me. I can bring up that video. I have 2 separate recordings. The one that I put online is just one recording. The other recording I didn't put online because I was asked not to, out of respect to your cousin. Okay? But if you keep provoking me, I can find that recording and I can put it up. And she specifically says, you left Amari on the floor. You and your mommy in the kitchen, and you sitting there telling her to look after Amari because you didn't want to do it because your nails probably got in the way. So she did it.
So you haven't seen the videos of me and Amari and he's laying on my chest and I was holding...
I have. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Doesn't mean that you didn't ignore him and leave him on the floor when he was 1 year old and not as cute and cuddly as he was when he was 7 months old.
Holding him. Who do you think set up his birthday party? Me. Who do you think paid for his food, diapers? Me. His second car seat after my mom got into a car accident. Who paid for it? Me. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. And as for what my cousin said, I'm pretty sure I already let you know in a past video. Me and her are cool now. We've already talked it out and everything like that.
Yeah, maybe you and her are cool now, but if the shit ever goes to court, she'll be under oath. Plus, we have the recording. So if she wants to backtrack and skip over her words and say that she made a mistake, then she's only embarrassing herself. And that would only be because she'd be afraid of you punching her out with your little threats. Do it my way or you're getting punched out. Just like with me. Do it my way. Don't talk about Shimei. Shimei's just a dead issue. Get on with your happy life. You know, blah, blah, blah. She means nothing to you, Judy. She's just some dead doornail that whatever. But if you don't stop talking about Shimei, I'm just going to come to your house, whether you like it or not, whether I'm welcome or not, and what? What you going to do? Because you've already threatened to punch me out a few freaking times in the past, okay? When I went to go pick up Amari with Andre, when Andre was like 7 years old, and you're punching me out right there by the car. Yeah, because his hat fell on the fucking floor, on the ground, because of the way you passed him to me, with Andre witnessing that shit, and then threatening to come to my house, punch me out again. Like, that's all. I don't know what kind of mother you're gonna be, but you're a freaking weirdo. Like, seriously, what kind of mothers go around and you expect to keep your kid with that kind of attitude? Threatening to punch people out? Just think you can show up at their doorstep just because you think you can? Nobody likes you. You're dangerous. You're scandalous. You're a freaking hoodlum. You're a bloody stalker that's got some serious mental health issues. And, like, seriously, man, when I'm done with doing whatever I'm doing, it is nothing to write 5 freaking pages, start a whole new freaking lawsuit, and remember remind the government that through their negligence, this is exactly what happens. This is exactly what happens. The stalkers in the community, the hoodlums in the community that commit murder, nothing stops them. And being that they got away with it, they think they can go and cause havoc over and over and over again because the government won't put your ass in check because they're more interested in laundering dirty money with the foreigners that are coming in, spending millions of dollars on body parts, on innocent young lives that never deserved to be targeted for the shenanigans that's going on in the economy right now. Right now. I'd file another lawsuit just based on your bullshit. If I die, do I believe before I'm dead that you would stop doing what you do? No. So what stops you? Well, maybe a lawsuit where the freaking microscope with a bright light is shining on you. Mother of the Year?
Fortunately, she was smoking meth at that time.
Who the hell was smoking meth? What are you talking about?
But unfortunately,
No. What the hell is that
she was
shit?
smoking meth at that time. And as for what my cousin said,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
your cousin was smoking meth. Oh, sure. Okay, so what does that say about you? You got Amari at your house on the floor. He's a year old on his birthday. Clearly he can't move. Clearly there's something wrong. Nobody really knows, right? Because he hasn't been diagnosed yet. You got your cousin there living there for the last couple of weeks. Last 3 visits, Julian doesn't show up. Your mother doesn't want to pick him up because there's something wrong with her hands and she can't be bothered. Or maybe she just can't be bothered. You don't want to do it because your nails are in the way. Or maybe you just can't be bothered. So the cousin does it. So you let a meth head freaking pick up my grandson. What does that say about you? Was she stoned at the time? Or was she okay? Because I know more about meth than you do. Trust me. Because Sierra was a meth addict for 6 years. Right? So I take that with a grain of freaking salt. So what are you saying? That whatever your cousin had to say is mute because she was stoned? Well, you allowed her to look after Amari because you and your mom had already decided that that was going to be the last visit, and then you were going to blame me when you dropped him off after his birthday to never see him again? Because that's basically what you did, and then you blame me for it, for standing my ground, that your family murdered my daughter, and you can't deal with that cross that you have to carry. Not my problem. That's your cross. I got my own crosses. And trust me, I got more than one. But I'm proud and I'm strong and I'm carrying it. And I'll carry them right to the very bitter end. Because I'm not afraid to get on that freaking highway. That underground railroad. Even if I can't make it, I will still make an attempt to do it for justice. Well, you stand for nothing. You stand for threats. Threatening people to punch him out. So I'm just going to show up at your doorstep, whether you like it or not. He's my nephew. You have no choice. Yeah, I do. It's called get a restraining order, file another fucking lawsuit, and remind the government that they need to do their job. To prevent people like you from being freaking maniacs in the community that harm, injure, and murder people, one way or another.
I already let you know in the past video, me and her are cool now. We've already talked it out and everything like that. Unfortunately, she was smoking meth at that time. You sat there and took information from a fucking meth addict.
Well, first of all, when she was talking to Tisha, she wasn't high. So, that's all based on an opinion. And what the hell do you got a meth addict sitting there looking after a baby while you and your mom were ignoring her? Bullshit. I call bullshit. That's you with a failed response towards a child that you and your mother chose to drop like a hot potato. What, you didn't bring Amari back to the house after his birthday because you had a meth addict living in your living room? Is that it? Was that the excuse? But you couldn't say that. You had to blame me for it? No, it's because you guys didn't want to be bothered because you're selfish.
That's not my issue. That's your issue. She was off the pipe. And with that being said, she doesn't even remember half the things she said to you.
Well, she didn't talk to me, she talked to Tisha. And if she heard the videos, because there's 2 recordings, she would remember. And if she was under oath, she would say, yeah, that's what happened. Because she wasn't stoned when she was talking to Tisha. And I highly doubt she was sitting there stoned in your house when she was looking after Amari while your mother was in the kitchen and you were just sitting there looking at him on the floor. As you and your mother plotted and schemed how you could blame me for not coming back after you dropped him off on his birthday and said, that's it. We're not picking him up anymore because of you, Judy. No, you just didn't want the responsibility. That is your cross, not mine. Okay, I'm the one that does the daily grind, not you. I am the one with the heart of steel, not you. I am the one that will get on that underground railroad, get on that highway, whatever you want to call it, to fight the good fight for my whole family, including Amari, not you. You stand for nothing.
Because, yeah, I can get her on the record too, by the way.
Why don't you do that? I dare you. I dare you.
Or maybe Dyke Tisha, since she loved Geldem, maybe she can call her up and talk to her about it too.
Dyke Tisha? Okay.
Because we could all do a conversation. I can tell you that right now. But, you know, proud on my cousin for getting clean though. Did we have to work that situation out because she was a liar? Yes. Yes, we did. She apologized multiple times for it because it's not true. Yes. Yes, she did. Thank you very much. And
what was that, a burp?
With that being said...
Seriously, what was that? Some weird-ass burp?
Yeah, that was a burp, by the way.
Oh, who does that? Who talks like that and then keeps talking? I've never heard that before. So you got intestinal problems now?
She apologized multiple times for it because it's not true. Yes. Yes, she did. Thank you
She did that on purpose. Must be from all that dick sucking.
very much. And with that being said, let me know.
You know, deep throat.
If you would like me to let her know that you would like her to say it for herself. Thank you very much.
No, I have bigger fish to fry. Okay?
Oh, lady, you need to stop. Oh, do you like my baby swing? Yeah. It's from my little pig.
You must be more than 2 months pregnant to be scooping up on all this baby stuff. Because your video, last one, you said you were 2 months pregnant. So, why you'd need a baby swing with you only being 2 months pregnant, I don't know. And whatever, because Andre had already went through your video and he kind of gave me heads up about the things that you're talking about.
That in my tummy.
You act like you're the only one that ever got pregnant on the planet.
Anyways, and as well as, let's not forget, my mom only spoke with Tisha, not you. You're somebody who can't be, like, nobody wants to talk to you. You're weird. You talk too much. You talk over what's needed to be said. You talk nothing but pure rubbish. Sitting that don't make the sense at all. So, I'm confused. Anyways, another thing I wanted to show you, Judy. So, Huggies just sent me my first promo box for free. I'm so excited for that. I'm going to do an unboxing on my TikTok so you can tell Tisha to take a look.
Well, I wonder if Huggies would continue, quote unquote, sponsoring you if and when they should ever find out that your name is on a lawsuit against the province of British Columbia, Canada, for that particular government for malfeasance and negligence to allow people like you to continue harassing innocent families who continuously be victimized twice through the, public union sector and their negligence to do their jobs to put people like you in jail. I don't care if it's Dr. Barr, Eleanor Gilding, or a Tomeka Johnson-Dixon. You're all crooks. And constable this and constable that when it comes to the illegal organ harvesting of innocent young people who are being used as a supply to prop up the demand of foreigners or immigrants that have more money and operate under a caste system and see hood rats in the community as nothing more than a commodity. And for whatever strange reason, or just average everyday young people as a commodity, and for whatever strange reason, our government seems to think it's business as usual with best practices to knock off young people to keep the old fat rich people, foreigners, immigrants, corrupt Caucasians, like an Eleanor Gilding. An Eleanor Gilding stealing Uncle John's inheritance would be the first one in line buying a kidney so that she could live an extra 5 years right along with that individual over there who's got a whole whack of money and can spend $100,000 for a heart. Right? That's the fight. That's the issue. Put that shit in check and maybe we'll have less death. But if you keep bringing in the immigrants to hide what's going on, and it just becomes rumorville, well, I had 20 friends 10 years ago, but now they're all dead. Well, why? That's 20 people. That's a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot of people. Well, because they're either having their organs taken out for transplant, they're either body parts like Shemaine's teeth being used in the robotoids, skin being used on the robotoids, or the leftovers, they do bone grafts, right? There's all kinds of things that they can use the body for. Anything left over, like when you slaughter a cow, anything else that's not sellable, it's grounded up and made into hot dog meat. It's like this. For all these fast food chains that keep talking about their hamburger this, McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and Happy Jacks or whatever the hell, right? For the amount of hamburger that people eat in a day through fast chain outlets isn't anywhere near than what's being produced when it comes to cows. So in other words, the amount of hamburgers that people eat in a day through fast food chains surpass what can be produced, and I'm talking daily, surpasses daily what can be produced through farming. If you produce 10,000 cows, if you slaughtered 10,000 cows a day, every day, that would only be a drop in the bucket to meet the total demand of hamburgers being sold daily through the various fast food chains. Just a drop. 5%. So where did the other 95% of that beef come from? You better think twice before you bite into those fast food hamburgers. Because maybe it's not all cracked up to be. Because they don't produce 10,000 cows a day to feed the general population. And it's not all coming in through exports either. Or imports, I should say. That's why I don't think Sierra is in that coffin. I think they buried an empty coffin. When I walked into that funeral home, she smelt like aged meat that hadn't quite got putrid yet. It was all it needed was to rinse off the old blood. That was it. Her body it hadn't even started to decompose. And if it did, it was just very lightly, with the few blisters on her face and a very light tone on her gut. Other than that, her body was pristine, and she was 19 days dead, based on what I was told from the timeline, from the time she supposedly died. And what did they do with beef? They age it for 21 days. They age it before they sell it to the public. Yeah.
La 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 la. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I have to say to you other than you keep saying that we're going around back and forth talking about the same thing. Who's the one who keeps saying the same thing and then I'm responding to it? This is...
Why are you watching my videos? Just take your cross, walk on your merry way, and deal with it. Right? It doesn't matter if I go on top of a mountain and scream at the top of my lungs that my daughter was murdered by hood rats. If you're not there to hear it, it wouldn't bother you. If there's somebody there in the forest that hears it, they can take that information back to their tribe, and they can work on protecting the tribe from people like you. They wouldn't know who you were because they wouldn't know what you look like. But at least they'd be aware that there are people out there like you. And that's the point of my videos. My daughter, my right. You don't like it, step off. That's your cross, not mine to carry. Take your slithering snake self, go find a rock, and hide under it. And when you're brave, go to Edmonton Mall, walk around like you're a big bag of chips, super mom of the year, and get on with your life. And when the shit hits the fan, well, welcome to being human. Because life isn't one big merry-go-round where you have fun every single day of your life because you just don't know what's, quote-unquote, lurking around the corner.
The issue with people. You can't get upset, sweetheart, over somebody reacting to what you're doing and what you're saying.
What? My daughter! My right! What part of that don't you understand? You should have thought about that before you did what you did. And that's the point. And that's where the government is failing the general population. Thousands of young people. Something you don't care about. I do.
So we'll continue to go in this circle, on this roller coaster. We'll continue to do that until you just give it up. Admit, you should have had more of parent influence.
Yeah, I should have ran your ass off by calling the cops on you and your brother when I had the chance and got a restraining order on the two of you then. And had it documented that your brother was a fucking drug dealer and you were a stupid little prostitute trying to pimp, what is that called? Bump my daughter. Yeah, you were trying to bump my daughter. Turn her into a little hoe. Set up a little shop for you and your brother so that you guys could carry on with your bullshit crap. I should have called the cops, but my daughter didn't want me to. No. And when she did finally break away from your brother, what did you do? Both of you came back together. And you killed her. That's your problem, not my problem. My problem is to get my government to realize that and step up to the plate and put people like you in jail. Stop it before it even happens. That's my problem. That's my cross. Even I have to leave the stupid country to do it. Walk away from everything. You stand for something or you stand for nothing. I stand for something.
Your children. That's why Tisha can't read. That's why Tisha can't write. Because you didn't even push that. That's why she still gets upset at you for that.
Tisha doesn't like to take responsibility for not trying. That's her problem. That's her cross. Always will be. Tisha and Shimei came up on the same plateau. Well, how is it that Shimei ended up being a genius with honors under the same premise of what Tisha came up on? The difference between Shimei and Tisha is Shimei applied herself to the books. Shimei sat her ass down to do the work. Shimei didn't give up and she kept on trying. She took fucking hours to keep on. Well, Tisha just didn't want to. She was fashionable. She was this, she was, okay, whatever. Everybody's different. Everybody learns different. But you know what? Tisha's doing fine. So that's all that matters. She didn't end up being a freaking hoodlum like you. And she's a good mom. So I'm proud of Tisha, regardless of whether she can read as well as Shimei or not. I didn't compare Shimei against Tisha, Tisha against Shimei, because one could read better than the other. What I cared about is they didn't grow up to be like you. That's what I cared about.
Andre, you're setting the poor kid up for failure.
No, Andre is like his mom. Andre is like his sister, like his aunt Tisha. Andre, do some schoolwork. Why? It's boring. It doesn't matter whether it's boring. Puts his heels to the ground, still to this day, wants to be Mr. Stubborn. Andre, there's going to be a price to pay for it. If you don't apply yourself, all you have to do is a couple, 2-3 hours a day. It's not that hard. I don't want to. Getting all mouthy and everything. You know what? Been there, done that. Went through that with Tisha. Sierra, went through that with Sierra. Okay? Shimei, I didn't have to say anything. She wanted information. She wanted to learn a second language, read, write, and speak it. She wanted to learn how to play the piano. She taught herself how to do it. She taught herself how to freaking read music. She wanted to go back to school. And when she went back to school in grade 10 what? A new comment. Let's just read this fucking comment. Hold on a minute. Oh, a new comment came in. Let's go read the comment. Andre is on comment patrol. Let's just refresh. Okay, so we'll refresh. Andre's on comment control.
Anyway.
Oh, well, we'll have to backtrack with that. Where's the comment? No, I don't see no comment here.
Comment on my PC, see?
Well, it's not coming in here. Don't delete it. Read it. What does it say?
Anyway.
No. Go read it. What does it say? Did it got deleted already? See how fast they delete this shit?
I got the other one's just still there.
Yeah. Read it to me.
I can't really read that.
Why?
I don't know if this will get you banned on me.
Just read it.
Okay, well. Oh no, never mind. Got deleted.
It got deleted. Did you read it before you before what did you do?
Nothing.
Well, what did it say? Did you read it?
No, but here's it's on my phone.
Huh? It's on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, let me read it.
It's okay. It's this is not gonna get you banned, right?
I don't know.
Okay, well, as cuss words, so
What?
as the cuss words.
It has cuss words. So somebody came in with a whole bunch of cuss words. And the comment got deleted pretty much as fast as it got. Well, can I read it? Can I see? Let me see. Let me see if I can read it and I can bypass these cuss words.
Top one there.
Top one. Oh my God. Okay, I need to just change my glasses. So I'm going to read. I guess avoid the cuss words. Okay. Let's see what somebody else has to say. Is it the same person or somebody else? Okay, I got to change my glasses. All right, let me see it. So this, as fast as it got posted, it got deleted. And this one's from Mike. So we got another man stepping up to the plate here, looking after their sisters, their daughters, and their mothers, and their nieces, and their grandmothers. Got to watch out for those grandmothers that got money, because once the grandma gets old, everybody wants the money. So we need the men in the grandmother's life to protect the grandmas. I'm telling you. Okay.
Top one.
Okay, so Mike, this is what Mike has to say. Unfortunately, Mike, your comment got deleted. Whether by YouTube, no, it says read more. You need to push read more. But let me read this first before the mute, because if you push that, the whole thing might disappear. It says, shut up, F you F bitch. I hope your kid hates you, and I hope your sugar daddy breaks up with your ugly ass. And I love what New Nation Unity says is a...
What?
Yeah, we'll wait until I file another lawsuit, Mike.
Is wait, no, is...
Whether we win or not, at least we're keeping it at the table in the province of British Columbia, Canada, Parliament buildings. Okay.
She is a kind...
Let me just read.
I guess I'll put read more.
Yeah, read more. So I can read the whole thing. We're doing this on a cell phone.
There you go.
That's how crooked freaking YouTube is. Always trying to hide the truth.
Whatever they did, they rough.
Yeah, okay, so now, so Mike says, because the video, the comment is gone now, and if I'm not lying, it's right there, okay? So don't accuse me of lying.
If you want, you can show the video. No, I'm pretty sure they might be able to see it.
Oh yeah, there, you see, there's the video, right there, do you see? I'm not lying, okay? Andre's on comment patrol here, because we know how YouTube likes to shadow ban and hide the truth here, right? All right, so let's carry on. Yeah, I love what New Nations Unity. She is a kind lady, and I like what she does for the community. Yeah, we got a little bit of beef going on right now in terms of that meeting of the minds, but you know what? I'm so busy right now, I ain't sweating it. I'm just going to keep working on that sewing table, and once I get that sewing table up, a few musical instruments, I want to start a band, I really do, and a choir. It's been something that I've been wanting to do ever since I worked at Gateway Place. So I'm going to leave that in the hands of God, honest to God, and just let it work itself out and not lose faith on that, okay? So thank you for reminding me of that, because sometimes it gets frustrating, right? Okay. So this person, he appreciates what I try and do or have done in the past. Oh yeah, and you're doing things to a old lady that has to turn kids to look after.
What? What are you
Right here. And I like what she does for the community. Oh yeah, and you're doing things to a old lady. In other words, this girl, this one here, Tasty Bonnie, is harassing a 64-year-old woman who is overworked, trying to hold down the fort, still thinking about the community, always has that justice candle burning in the background. You might not see it in my window, but you know that there's, I stand for justice. You know how they say, if you're wandering around and, and you're looking for a safe house, that's what I have, is a safe house, right? And for whatever it is that I do it for all the right reasons. That's why I got 11 questions for the fire department. Because those 11 questions, even though, I'm feeling a little discouraged right now, at least if things start to develop with the, with the sewing or whatever it is that I'm thinking of doing, I'll have those questions answered, and then we can build from there. And we still might get that community grant going. All right? So, community, oh yeah, and you're doing things to an old lady that has to turn kids, something's moving around outside at 4 o'clock in the morning, turns kids to look after, and one severe condition, so F you. So F you. Yeah. So that got deleted probably because of the swear words. So Mike, if you're trying to make a comment, do it in such a way where you avoid the swear words, but even then, if you wrote something that she didn't like, she wouldn't allow it to go through. But then I can also say that sometimes I do that too. I used to copy and paste troll comments coming in and then delete and put a block on the troll. But for the most part, the only people that got stupid shit to say to me are her coming in under fake user accounts and her, partners in crime. All right, so just continue with your comment patrol. All right, so I don't know where we were on this. Let's just pick up with it. Another long video, people. It is what it is.
Confused. Anyways, another thing I wanted to show you, Judy. So Huggies just sent me my first pro.
Honestly, I've been working with diapers for a long time because at 8 years old, Amari wears diapers because of his cerebral palsy. I prefer Pampers. I'm not so much Huggies. I prefer Pamper diaper wipes. That is the better product in my opinion, being that I've been doing these kind of diapers and diaper wipes ever since I got Amari since he's been 7 months old, right? Like, again, once I get the sewing table up and I can lay out my fabric, I do plan on making cloth diapers, but I'll have to make some rubber pants because you can't buy them anymore. And I'd like to put Amari in them at least during the day, right? Which would be nice for him, not for me, because it's extra work. While you got Mr. Lantern, a different, it could be her just talking to herself, because she does that, right? She has multiple channels or multiple whatever, right? And she has in the past been known to make a post and talk to herself. You just have to follow the user accounts to connect the dots. Saying that I get off on, in terms of, I don't know, like just get off on freaking washing diapers or something. Where I get the satisfaction on washing diapers is if you got a bucket full of diapers after 3 days, because it's a 3-day cycle, and they're all washed and nicely folded up, and you got a huge pile of beautiful, nice diapers for the next 3 days, that's where the satisfaction comes in. I don't think I could ever train Amari to pee into a bedpan, but if there was ever a chance to do it, you'd want to use cloth diapers so that he can distinguish what wet means compared to dry. Whereas if you use manufactured diapers, children can't distinguish because, the way they're made. Anyway, who cares about diapers right now?
Box for free. I'm so excited for that. I'm gonna do an unboxing on my TikTok so you can tell Tisha to take a look. La 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 la. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I have to say to you other than you keep saying that we're going around back and forth talking about the same thing. Who's the one who keeps saying the same thing and then I'm responding to it? This is...
What do you care? You live in Edmonton. You blend in with the crowd. Nobody can read what is on your cross as you walk through public carrying it. Only you. That's why they call it carrying your cross. Only you know what you are carrying. Okay? And when you get to the pearly gates, that cross, or crosses, will definitely be on your back. And there's no guarantee that God or your maker is going to forgive you and let you cross over.
This is the issue with people. You can't get upset, sweetheart, over somebody reacting to what you're doing.
No, what you're doing, Tomeka Johnson-Dixon, is you're motivating me to file another freaking lawsuit. Yeah, to bring everything back to the surface. So that the next time the government throws it out, I'll have the fortitude to make sure that whatever needs to be met when it goes to the appeal process in front of 3 judges, I'll make sure I meet that threshold and I file the paperwork hook or by crook. Okay? Right now, everything's just pending. The government doesn't know what to do with me. Haven't you figured that one out yet?
And what you're saying. So we'll continue to go in this circle.
I represent a dollar compared to billions of dollars of corruption. If the government is corrupt and only wants money, whether by hook or crook, then of course they're going to side with the billions of dollars and throw away the $1. So it's easy for them to toss me away because I'm worthless in their opinion. But you know what they say about a penny and an accountant. If you know anything about accounting in terms of a corporation, if you're off by 1 penny, that 1 penny could end up becoming millions of dollars over a period of time. In terms of interest over a period of years and how that penny affects the corporation's bottom line. I'm that 1 penny that can tip it over the edge. But the government doesn't see it like that because they're stuck on that $1 billion that's being generated through thousands of young people being murdered and then covered up, organs being harvested, wherever those or other body parts ending up in the food chain, being that we don't produce enough cows to make all those hamburgers. I'm just saying, keep that in mind. Or that robotoids need real teeth versus fake teeth. That's why Shimei's teeth were taken. Keep that in mind. And of course, you know, the people with the money, doesn't matter what their ethnic heritage is, as long as they can afford to buy the organs so that they can live longer, they don't care as long as the money comes, right? They got the system in place. That's what Dr. Barr and his operating team from Vancouver that came into Surrey, which is a 45-minute drive to dote over a dead body. I mean, that's all in place, right? You know what I'm saying? Of course, the social workers are on board because they just dropped the ball with Amari and let Julian, the drug dealer, fight me in court. While the sister, who is the one that laced the cigarettes, continue after 8 years later to make threats to show up at my door because apparently that's what you do towards the end of the video. So let's just stick with the video.
On this roller coaster, we'll continue to do that until you just give it up.
I won't give it up, though. My daughter was murdered. My government failed to protect my daughter before she was murdered. And my government is trying to cover up murder so that they can continue to harvest young people as more and more young people are being murdered. Why would I give up that fight? I wouldn't.
Admit, you should have had more of parent influence on your children.
I should have called the cops on you and your brother and had a restraining order put against you too. But I didn't want to interfere with my daughter's life as she was learning how to navigate through it despite not having any game because she was a nerd. She was a nerd. She wasn't a hoodlum. She was a nerd. And being a nerd got her murdered by hoodlums. And as a mother, I should have called the cops and put a restraining order on you and your brother. And then, I suppose, risk having Shimei get mad at me and perhaps walking out the door and perhaps getting that apartment for you and everything in her name so that she could learn the hard way what I was trying to protect her from. But I took the middle ground. I tried to protect her, keep you guys out of the house, but you kept coming back like dirty cats to the point where you even killed her because you couldn't stop. But at least she never put anything in her name and became responsible for a brothel and a shack when the shit hit the fan. I'm just saying. But I should have, hindsight, looking back, right? I should have put a restraining order on you and your brother. But I would have lost my daughter because she wouldn't have seen that I was trying to protect her from bad people, and she would have rebelled. And that was the only reason I didn't do it.
That's why Tisha can't read. That's why Tisha can't write. Because you didn't even push that. That's why she still gets upset at you for that. Andre, you're setting the poor kid up for failure. Like, he can't read nor write either.
Andre has to learn to take responsibility for himself. Okay? Just like anybody else in the world.
That is sad. Don't even know his timetables at his big age. That's sad. You want him for what you're molding him into be. That's sad. That's just as much as somebody who SAs younger kids. Like,
You're sick.
Said prior that your drunk mommy had lots of men around you and that you must have been SA'd when you were younger, so...
No, I think if anything like that happened to me, it was when I was in foster care. Yeah, because I was in foster care when I was little. You know, like a little 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or something like that. I didn't go to my grandmother's until I was 5. And when I got to her at age 5, the only language I could speak was German. I didn't know one word of English. My vocabulary at age 5 was German. So that means I lived with German people and grew up as a toddler with a family that was German. So that tells me I was in foster care. So if anything happened to me, it happened in foster care. Because ain't nobody in my family, when it comes to being Ukrainian and a Chorny, spoke German. Okay? Only one place that came from. And that would have been in foster care. So there's your foster care system. Alright?
I'm just saying, you are giving...
So if you want to use a toddler, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old as an excuse to talk about sexual assault against children as a means to make a point against me, that just shows how twisted your mind is. Right?
Product of your own environment. And you're never going to get out of that environment because God helps those who help themselves. Remember that. You're always looking for a handout. You're always looking for a woe is me.
No. I talk about the bullshit that goes on when it relates to gang stalking that comes from different groups. Because it's more than one group that does it for different reasons. and you just happen to be your own little group with your own little friends for different reasons.
As for Tisha wanting to move, like, girl, I would have left a long time ago. I don't know why you staying there, girl. And with that being said, like, where are you gonna go?
First of all, Tisha doesn't even watch your videos. She doesn't watch my videos. So get off your self-important horse.
She can't leave. She has to stay there. She has to stay there. She might as well go to St. Vincent, third world country or something. I don't know. But I'm sure if she comes over to...
And what's your fixation on Tisha? You know, like seriously, you keep bringing up Tisha's name. Why? Why do you think about Tisha so damn much? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, are you stalking Tisha now? Whatever. When I had that dream, was Shimei dead? Right? And then whatever happened to Shimei, I seen Shimei dead. Okay? From the face up with a blanket over from the neck down. Okay? So that put it in the hospital. All right? But when I went downstairs, when Julian called me down and then stood there and watched, I mean, she looked dead. Slightly different than what she looked like in the hospital. But besides that point, oh, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I see Shimei in my dream, dead, with the blanket from the neck down, right? And then whatever happened to Shimei was going towards Tisha's room, and Tisha was going to be next. And that's what Julian did. He killed Shimei, and then he walked down the hall, stood in front of Tisha's door, and said to Tisha that Shimei's not responding, because he was thinking about killing Tisha next. It was already on his mind. You see, that's the thing. Or it was God's way of telling me that who walked down the hall after killing Shimei and stood in front of Tisha's room is the person who killed Shimei. Okay? So Julian kills Shimei, walks down the hall, didn't run, didn't wait, just walks down the hall, stands in front of Tisha's door, says Shimei is not responding. Tisha jumps up, Julian stands back, lets Tisha run past him, run down the hall, while he walks down the hall to stand there and watch Tisha, trying to, try and get Shimei to respond, right? Tries to go off and get water so he can splash it on her face, Shimei's face, while Tisha's saying, no, go get mom. So then he comes upstairs, he tells me to go downstairs, he doesn't tell me why. Then he watches me, because he was watching. That's what psychopaths do.
I was just in the living room.
What?
I was just in the living room, sleeping on the couch when this all happened.
That's right. And the point is, my dream told me that whatever happened to Shimei, with her to be dead like the way she was, walked down the hall and was going to Tisha's room because Tisha was going to be next. And that's when I woke up crying, because I didn't want another dead daughter, because one was already dead. So that's God's way of saying he did it. Well, you, 8 years later, have this fixation on Tisha. You literally have a fixation on Tisha after all this time. That's because Julian didn't kill Shimei by himself. Shimei needed to be subdued first with that medical fentanyl, with her cigarettes being laced. And there was only one place that would have happened, and that was your mother's place. And I highly doubt it was your mother who laced Shimei's smokes. Personally. But that's not to say that your mother didn't condone it, because there are families who have been documented to work as a team to murder others, especially when there's small little children involved, where the family that's murderous thinks that they can get rid of so-and-so and so-and-so, so they get the kids. So that's not unusual, and the cops know that. What's unusual is the cops don't do their jobs like they used to, because there's big money in dead body parts. Especially when it doesn't cost anything to harvest them, because taxpayers are paying for that process to harvest body parts in hospitals, whether a public hospital or a private hospital. The system is already in place. It's not like being done in a back room in a shed like the good old days when the Wild Wild West in those days, right? You know, they didn't have the facilities, they didn't have the doctors, they didn't have the equipment, they didn't, right? And everything is in place. And it's an assembly line now. It's a slaughterhouse. Only it's a different kind. Where you're not being told that it exists. Because your government is too busy trying to cover it up. But yeah, whatever happened to Shmei was going towards Tisha's room, and she was going to be next. So this, with your fixation, your infatuation, with your need to keep thinking about Tisha and talking about Tisha, just shows me that you were walking down the hall with Julian after Julian finished the job to which you started when it came to premeditated murder. It just reinforces that dream. Yeah.
Around here, we'll probably be seeing each other a lot more. If not me, I mean, someone who was related to me.
Okay, so now she's using somebody else as a tool to threaten. Are you threatening Tisha? Or are you threatening me? Who are you threatening? And who's your tool?
A lot more.
And what do you want your tool to do? Whip out a knife? Or what are those things called? Brass knuckles? Are you expecting your tool to whip out some brass knuckles and punch Tisha in the face? Is that it? Or are you punching me in the face? Are you going to take a box cutter and slice me here and slice me there? Or are you going to have your tool to do that for you? Because what? Who are you talking about here? Tisha or me? I think it's Tisha. Because that's what I was just talking about, was Tisha, and how you're so fixated on Tisha. And why? After 8 fucking years. Like, seriously.
If not me, I mean.
Okay, we need to go back on that. Oh, God, this is going to be another 2-hour video. It is what it is. Let the social workers watch this shit. Let them flag your file in Alberta. Seriously, let them flag your file in Alberta with the social workers in Alberta before your baby's even born. Because prior to that, when you were with Cheeseburger, or whenever, I think you had some mental health issues where you had a nervous breakdown and were out of commission for a while. So it's not like you're completely stable in terms of, suffering from quote-unquote depression, maybe becoming suicidal, or whatever, bipolar. Maybe you suffer from bipolar. Who knows? I just know that every now and then you disappear off your page, and then you come back and say, oh, I had, problems, and I had to, take some time out and, regroup myself and start all over again. Well, that kind of indicates that you have, at some point in the past, more than once, mental breakdowns. So if you're prone to mental breakdowns because you can't handle and cope with life, well, you think that's just going to disappear because you all of a sudden become Mother of the Year? Hell no. You're one of those individuals that CPS needs to keep an eye on, considering how you like to behave on the internet and make threats on my family 8 years after my daughter's been murdered. Period. Murdered.
You know what's surprising?
What?
Jacob.
I can't... Jacob?
Is still here. She's still there.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if she removes it. Jacob didn't swear in his post.
No, he did.
Well, it was very mild compared to what Mike had to say. Yeah. And it's the men, if you notice, it's the men that are stepping up to the plate. It's that testosterone where they want to protect their families.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Huh?
Yeah, he did. It was only like one.
Yeah, one little swear word, whoop-de-freaking-do. But it's the men that want to protect their families from hoodlums, right? That, you know, have some sort of loyalty to their sons and daughters and nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, hell, grandparents, okay? Because there's more than one story on my channel. You think you're the main player? Hell no. But you'll be the one that takes it to court. Well, that you won't take it to court. I'll take it to court. I'll bring it back to the surface real freaking fast. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you want the spotlight on you? I'll put the spotlight on you. I'll put you first. First. And the government is being negligent by not dealing with murder, by not dealing with premeditated murder, by not dealing with illegal organ harvesting and the gang stalking that comes around it, and the targeting of vulnerable families. Yeah, you're putting my family, the government is putting my family at risk to harm and injury by not dealing with the core issues in our society that is putting Mike's family at risk, Jacob's family at risk, okay? Doesn't matter if it's 3 people in the family or 20 people in the family. They're at risk until the government starts to clean up the riffraff. Doesn't matter if it's within the public union sector, on a provincial level, or on a federal level when it comes to the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, that cover up murder so that organs can be illegally harvested through a system that's being paid through taxpayers, so it's not costing anybody any money because it's being written off, when it's simply all you have to do is just get some doctor that comes in with their own private operating team to travel from one district to another district to use a public facility to take out organs as they teach students how to embalm bodies in a hospital, even though under legislation it is illegal to do so. So what? You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You teach the student, how to illegally embalm a dead body in a hospital in the basement so that you can wheel it back upstairs, and then have your nurses dote over a dead body so that they can portray to the family that the person is alive when in fact they're not. And if you want to take it there, the government can look at my exposures and explain to me, what is this? What is this? Why does she have an orifice plug in the back of her throat? Why does she have sutures right up in here as her jaw is being pulled out? Because her jaw is dropping, because when people die, their jaws drop. So they had to suture up her mouth in there as this part, as she was laying dead as a doornail on a bed on the 16th. Your brother and you killed her on the 11th. And by the 16th, her jaw was dropping. And I've got, zoom in, bring it up to, right? Take it to exposure. And you could actually see the sutures going on a zigzag as her skin is being pulled off in here, right? As her eyes were caving in. And then on the 19th, all of a sudden she's got eye caps, and her eyes are like this, while her jowl is all the way down here, with her mouth being just slightly open enough where I could blow up the picture, take it to zoom, and see the orifice plug. Why doesn't the government deal with that? Why doesn't the government deal with that? Because it's too real. That's why. And it would shut the system down. Yeah. But, no. Now that's a cross to carry.
I'm gonna go. She can't leave. She has to stay there. She has to stay there. She might as well go to St. Vincent, third world country or something. I don't know. But I'm sure if she comes over to around here, we'll probably be seeing each other a lot more.
So is that another threat just by the way you look? What you gonna do? Have your little 2-month-old baby, little 2-year-old baby sitting in a stroller while you go and run up and punch Tisha out? Or are you gonna get your hubby to do that for you? Or maybe one of your friends to do that for you so that you can just stand back and say it wasn't you that instigated it? Yeah, right, because the way you're looking pretty freaking cocky right now.
If not me, I mean, someone who was related to me.
And so, what right do you have to go and say anything to Tisha? Right? She's not interested in running into you. She doesn't like you. But you'd what? You gonna give her the evil eye? Right? Send in your so-called husband to what? Give her a lecture? So whatever happened to Shimei went to Tisha's room next. More reason for me to fight the good fight. Because Julian wasn't walking down that hall by himself. He was walking with you. And that's why you can't get off that freaking path. Because the job ain't done yet. Because as far as you and your brother were concerned, you had Tisha on mind as well, being that you got away with murdering Shimei. Makes sense to me. What other reason why else would you be so fixated on her?
Anyways, yeah. And I don't know why you keep crying wolf talking about you threat this, threat that. Baby, if you don't want me to come by and say hello to my nephew, which is my nephew.
So what? So what? So what? You dropped that ball years ago.
What does that say? Oh, my nephew. You should probably move out of the house that they've been trying to kick you out of for the past 10 years.
So what? Just because you think you know where I live, you have a right to come to my house because you have a so-called nephew here that you left lying on a floor for a meth addict to look after because you and your mom were negligent? Yeah, okay. Like I said, Child Protective Services need to flag your fucking file before you even give birth. Okay? If anything, that's what they should at least consider. Seriously. You think just because you know where I live, you have a right to come to my house with your threats? Okay. Like I said, I should have put a restraining order on you and Julian when Shimei was alive and I was trying to run you guys out of the house. Well, first of all, I didn't even know you were really creeping around in those days. It was Julian that I was... Brooks was trying to run Julian and his friends out of the house. Brooks got beat up with baseball bats from a band of Julians. Okay? You just were a slithering snake sleeping with Cheeseburger in the living room at that time, trying to get on your little brothel with your brother with the crack shack. Well, I was trying to scare out freaking Julian, protect Shimei from being hoodwinked into being the fall girl. You know, the fall guy? What's up now?
Oh, nothing. I'm just trying to...
I know, this is taking longer than I expected. Sucks up energy.
Yeah, just say Mike did another comment.
Oh, Mike did another comment?
Yeah, I tested to make sure if it was showing there on the PC online.
Probably not, eh?
No.
Let me read it. Okay, so Mike came in and did another comment. Let's read it. Where is it?
Top again.
Okay, so just to confirm, where's the video? There's the video.
Oh, up there.
There's the comment. Okay, there's the new comment. There's the old comment. And then there's Jacob's comment. So let me read this. Okay, she is a effing, you know what? And she looks like a witch with that thing on her lip. You know what? Andre said there was something on your lip. He called it a mole, but needless to say, I can't see it. I think it's a... Are you sure maybe it's not what is that called? Like a, you know, like a nose ring or something happened to the phone.
It just automatically shuts off.
Maybe it's like a nose ring. Piercing. It could be a piercing thing.
No, it's not piercing.
Well, I don't know. With that thing on her lip and her ugly butt hair and eyebrows. Andre pointed out about your eyebrows too with the last video that you came in. It's funny how people are noticing the same thing that Andre's noticing. With the last video that you deleted, he made comment about your eyebrows. Today he made comment about whatever the hell is on your lip, which I can't really see. So I'm assuming it's a piercing. Are you sure that's not a piercing?
No, it's not piercing.
Okay. Well, we've got Mike coming in noticing the same stuff. See? Males, they think alike. You know, that's why we've got two men stepping up to the plate, listening past the riffraff of what I gotta say, and are wanting to protect their families from freaking F-tards, basically. Right? Because this isn't a game. Even though you think it's a game, and you think you have the right to come to my house simply because you know where I live, and you can call it, what, ant card 8 years later, after everything that's happened, and there won't be no consequences around that? Well, that tells you something. That tells you something about how shallow you are. Shallow.
If you moved, I wouldn't know where you are. But you won't.
But you're a stalker, so you'd look for me anyway. Yeah. And then when I die, you think you're going to be able to come back and worm your way in, act like nothing happened. But that's the point of these videos, is to document and to remind my family that you never stopped. And maybe by that time, they'll catch a clue and accept what I say is true, that whatever happened to Shmei was premeditated. It took two people to knock her out and kill her. You, the medical fentanyl, to subdue her so that when Julian showed up out of nowhere at 6:30 in the morning and by 9 o'clock she was dead. Yeah. Because she was subdued. And he came up and he hit her on the head. Can prove that through exposure with a bruise. Well, the hospital staff is saying, no, she didn't have a bruise. Even though they had pulled off her face and put those little square electrodes underneath the face with all those tubes running the same color through their little machine that was running that embalming fluid with those same color. She had like 5 or 7 tubes and putting that fluid underneath the skin through those pads to spread it out so that they could make her look alive with the embalming makeup on top. But when you zoom in, you take it to exposure, if you're embalmed, you're going to see that screwing in embalming plug, right? Orifice plug, so that whatever's on the inside can't leak out. There's no denying that she was embalmed. She was. But the government doesn't want to acknowledge that, because then they'd have to clean up the hospitals and put professional surgeons in jail and make room for people like you in jail.
Oh, you'll stay exactly right there and play victim like you always do. Anyways.
Victims don't walk away on principle. If you know anything about slavery in the 17 and the 1800s, when slaves rebelled and had to leave the plantation or take out their masters for justice to make the difference, even on a small scale, and were willing to be executed for their acts or get captured as they were on the Underground Railroad to get to the groups that were fighting against slavery, so they can take information to those groups so that it can be published, so that the general public could learn about what slavery was really about, so that they could turn it around, right? When they got on that highway, they knew there was a chance they wouldn't make it. If they took out the master, because the master injured 100 within the plantation and had no mercy, and finally the slave broke and took out the master and was prepared to be executed for that act, to make that difference. Well, what am I trying to say? It was the sacrifice that they had to pay in order to bring about change. So when you talk about me having a pity party, if my government is going to make it where I lose everything, basically, based on authority that is being used against me, maybe to silence me, so that I don't keep up with the good fight and just be that, quiet little peon, that little slave that doesn't rock the boat or whatever, considering the things that I talk about on my channel, I'm just saying, and want to put me out on the streets and expect me to sign up for MAID and make it easy for them? Hell no. I will take my chances, and I will find a way to leave this country, and I'll fight for my grandkids on the other side of the border. If my kids support me or not, it doesn't matter, because I don't expect them to understand. Because right now they're comfortable with their incomes, and they think that if they follow the rules, somehow they're going to skirt whatever's going on that's corrupt in this country. And like Mark Hain, well, I wouldn't go to the United States to fight the fight because this is my country, Canada, and I'll just stay here and fight the fight here. Well, yeah, sometimes you have to go to a different district and pick up the fight there, right? And being that there is no fight with Canadians, basically, compared to Americans, I'd be more successful to take the bigger fight to the States if my government wants to push me there, versus just let them push me out onto the street and then force me, antagonize me, entice me, extort me, threaten me to sign up with MAID to hide their malfeasance against the general public so that they can continue harvesting young people. And it might be Jacob's son. It might be Mike's daughter. Or maybe it will be Jacob's brother's daughter. It doesn't have to be in his family. It could just be connected to his brother or his sister, because families, some are large, some are small. But anytime you have a family and one is murdered, or they die under suspicious circumstances, it never really ever leaves you. And sooner or later, people are starting to connect dots.
Join me on my TikTok, guys, because I'm going to be doing an unboxing from Huggies.
As if people care about diapers.
Giving them a little bit of a shout out. So happy to do that. Also, too, I'm going to give you a little preview of all the little baby clothes I got. There's some milk storing bags. We have some nipple pads right here. We got the ice packs right here.
Why not just breastfeed? I breastfed all my kids 7.5 years between 5 kids. Did diapers for 7 years, 7.5 years. Yeah. Why not just breastfeed? It's the best for the baby, being that you're going to be super mom of the century.
Here, we got this bath right here. Pack of diapers, I think size 3. There is a box of diapers right here.
I just gathered up a big-ass bag of clothes that are, some of them sleepers, I just got a, what is that called? A jumping jolly that I found from when Andre was a baby. Brand new, spanking brand. Do you honestly think I care? I'm giving that all to Tisha just in case she needs it. If she doesn't want it, she can give it to somebody else. My baby days are basically over. That's over. That's what gets me into trouble, people. Like, honestly, if I didn't have so many freaking toys in my house and kid stuff in my house when it comes to, like, craft material and little games and, it would be better, right? But whatever. It is what it is. I'm working on it.
There is also a playmat.
I mean, who can get mad over children's toys, right? Right now, everything like that is going downstairs in one big mess. And then when Tisha comes over, she'll come with the kids, and we'll just open up a bag, empty it out, and the kids can help me sort it out. If they don't want it, of course, they'll tell me to keep everything, right? If they don't want it, we'll just bag it up, and we'll either put it out on the street or we'll drop it off at the thrift store. Seriously. I'm just saying.
Here.
But right now, there's so little they want it, right? So I don't get rid of it. And yeah, it gets annoying, but you only get to be a grandmother once. And don't forget, Marcane's coming in with his child. And I know he won't want it right now in terms of toys. But in 2 or 3 years from now, he'd be like, Mom, you got any toys? I'd be like, oh, yeah, take them finally. Oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with toys. I'm 68 years old now. I don't want no more toys in the house. Just this little pile. That's it. That's all I want.
Go. Here is my baby.
Versus a whole room full of toys.
Basket.
But when you know, been around as long as I've been and done all the things that I've done, it wouldn't be unusual to have all those toys.
Net. We have it covered so it doesn't get cat hair on it. Super cute. We do have Amari's first.
So what, is this supposed to smooth over the fact that you're super mom of the year that's making threat on a family that you've been stalking for years to come to the door simply because you know where I live and you think you have the right to say, let me see Amari after all this time? Yeah. And you're looking for Tisha in Edmonton as you're carrying your cross in public? Ashamed to carry it to boot? You see, I'm not ashamed to carry my cross. I carry my cross with pride. And I appreciate other people like Mike and Jacob who carry their crosses and are strong like oxes. Even when they're tired, they still carry it, and they're not ashamed to carry it. And they'll carry it right to the bitter end, even if they get taken out because they stand for something. You see, that's the difference between you and us. Where you carry your cross in shame.
Teddy bear from the hospital. I mean, you go back and look at the pictures, you'll see Julian holding that teddy bear while he's holding Amari walking up to the front doors of our house. We got that. Brand new. We got that. We also got this one. And then we also have all these lovely clothes in here. And then we have another chair rig.
And you've also got social workers watching you from Canada, British Columbia, Canada, contacting the social workers in Alberta. I'm just saying. And if they aren't contacting them, they're watching you one way or another. Somebody's watching you and it ain't me.
Here, a diaper genie.
I'm serious.
Quick,
The only thing you make me want to do, honest to God, Tasty Bonnie, is just file another lawsuit and bring it back up to the front and fight even harder than what I've been fighting. That's the only thing you make me want to feel like I want to do. Yep. That's how important it is. That's the cross I carry.
Hospital bag, I'm just getting ready here slowly. We do have a basket full of baby stuff here. And then we do have...
And wait till the garbage of diapers start to pile up and the laundry starts to pile up and the reality of being a mom starts to pile up with your fake-ass nails. I'd like to see what happens after that. Or what you going to do? Pawn off the baby onto your hubby and have your hubby do 2 shifts, look after the baby and go to work, and then come home and look after the baby because you're crashing? You need your antidepressant pills again, or whatever psychosis pills that you're on because you're bipolar this and got psychological problems with that, and you can only hold it together for so long. I wouldn't be surprised.
Another basket of these
Wait until depression kicks in.
stuff, which is just blankets.
You'll be silent on the internet for 10 months, a year, and then you'll come back and say, oh, well, I got a hiccup. I had to take care of some business. Some shit had to be taken. You know, I had to ground myself and start all over again with knew this and knew that and let go of that. And been there, done that like 2-3 times already with your ex-boyfriends.
We got some more outfits, right? We got swaddles, and we got more blankets and stuff.
But all in all, you know, you can't get mad at the baby, so I'm not mad at the baby. Not that I have any reason to be mad at a baby that hasn't even been born yet. So I'm not wishing no ill on no innocent child, that's for sure. But I don't think it's going to be as smooth going as you're trying to make it look to be at this point, because whatever you're doing, I've done over and over and over and over again. And so it's just par and parcel of, I suppose, being a mother. So good luck to you.
Up on wipes. We got a mommy swaddle we just got. Some cosmetics. We got some nipple, what are they, milk catchers. We got some teddy bears. We got a few things already. And a lot more to come. We got 2 books. So yeah.
Oh, is that the end of the video?
I have a 134 IQ.
Hold on a minute.
I make less.
Okay, so I just, I guess that was the end of the video. So, if we refresh the page with YouTube shenanigans, so far, she's the one getting the clout with her 53 views. The one comment is still there with Jacobs. Well, the other 2 comments from Mike have disappeared, but for whatever reason, they're showing up on a cell phone. For how long they stay on a cell phone, I don't know.
Until I reset it.
Oh, so they disappear as soon as Andre resets it. But the bottom line is, we've got 2 men wanting to protect their family, right? on the grander scale, I would think, in terms of what we're up against when it comes to a corrupt government, not doing their job when it comes to protecting the general public, and are allowing people, I don't want to say just young people, because it's not just young people, but for Tisha's age group, it would have been with those 17 dead individuals, because they were all her childhood friends or acquaintances. And that would be from the age of 8 and up, pretty much when I started doing park events and all that crap. Lived at Gateway Place, yada yada. So that's a lot of dead people within the last 20 years, because Tisha's 28 now, right? For her to not be able to have a reunion with, in light of what's going on in our country through that immigration replacement program that our government fosters to hide murder. Yeah. As it's being facilitated and implemented through our public union systems in terms of cover-ups to prop up the underground economy because we have a failing economy. And if it's not failing, it's only benefiting basically the crooks compared to the average day working class who are trying to survive and protect their families from the criminals in the hood, whether they're professional criminals or hood rat criminals. I'm just saying. So I would suspect these men are looking past the pettiness of this girl who thinks that she has the right to knock on my door, make demands. But I'm not going to, and I'm going to end it on this. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I should have called the police and got a restraining order against you and your brother. But I didn't want to scare my daughter off and have her make bad choices, being that she was a nerd and she didn't have no game and she couldn't see what was going on because she was quote unquote in love, or was at least trying to be loyal to somebody that truly didn't love her. But she, you know how girls are. You got to be loyal, right? Even though you got a bad man or whatever, they got to give it all before, they finally give up and move on. Well, Shimei was giving it all, and, I tried to run him off, and, I don't really recall you being down there like you say you were down there. And I mean, I know people were down there, and Brooks was trying to run you all off, but yeah, I should have charged your brother for trespassing and all that, and eventually get a restraining order, which would have included you. And so if you think you're going to come to, in other words, I'm not making the same mistake twice. If you come to my door, you threaten my family, I don't care who that family member is, I will call the police. I will have you charged with trespassing. If it's enough for me to file a restraining order against you based on the history of you stalking my family ever since Shimei's been murdered, then so be it. I will follow that route. So let that be a warning. Okay?